start with the example of absorption so you guys see it. That's what we anticipated to see. We were aware of these levels and kind of show you the footprint, just to kind of give you a little bit of a open your mindset on what actually happens, and then you guys can look for it again. Update, I did reach out to one of the developers, not named Sequence, even though I would love for Sequence if he could, to help us build Delta in TradingView. So basically, for a lot of you guys that don't have Quant Tower, don't want to pay for it, I'm trying to kind of minimize that cost for many of you that don't have it, right, and don't want to spend more money, which is understandable monthly. Where basically you guys would get the indicator part of the Orbit Discord group, where it would show you the delta just like it would in Quant Tower.
Oh,
I don't know if it's
awesome.
doable, but I think it's even if it's not, you know, up to tick, because in TradingView the tick stuff, it gets really complex, right? Just because they're not a broker themselves, so it'll be delayed. So I'm trying to see what's the best way to build that, right? Put the requirements together. But I did reach out to them as a custom project, right? I would pay for it, but you guys would get it for free. You wouldn't have to pay me anything extra than what you're doing now. Basically, you would get the education and trading views. Obviously, you guys, most of you have it. So it would be all in one place, right? Even if you don't have necessarily the footprint, let's say a footprint chart, where it shows you the, you know, the buy, the bid and the ask, right? As long as you have some idea of a delta, what's happening, I think you can still gauge the aggressiveness of buyers or sellers at key levels, right? Do you guys recall this? I'll start off with explaining the absorption, right? And what it kind of means, right? Do you guys recall this previous week value area high? We talked about it during the watch list, and we said that was our target, right? Do you guys remember that? Or
yeah.
Okay, so let's go here. We'll just adjust it. So I'll give you the idea, kind of where we got that from.
Still not sharing, Shorty.
Yeah, I don't want to share. I want to imagine the screens. So this is our, you know, let me go delete it. So if you guys look, this was our previous week at that time, right? Because we did this watch list Sunday. So it was this line here. It was our value area high. And that's the level, right? And remember what I said, you know, we spiked, we rejected this, we rejected it twice. We popped, and then, you know, Thursday we came back and I said, hey, this is our target, and look where we bounced. So naturally, what you expect to see here is as the sellers get excited, right? You had this nice balance here. Remember, I'm on 65 minutes. I'll go on smaller time frames. So here's a Thursday. You see this POC is important, right? You see them bouncing here. They you know, kind of defended it once. And then you see a kind of like a little consolidation here, right? And then from there, they're able to break the lows right here with this massive candle, right? They took it down, right? What happens then is they don't follow through immediately on the 30-minute. They try to bounce it up, and then they failed to make a higher high. You see the next candle here did not make higher high. But then what happens is, how many people do you think went heavy short here? So think about it. You're coming in on this level here, right? You see this level 45.63. You're coming down, and then you take it all the way 6 points down. And what level do you think they have in mind? As a trader, what would you target?
That high value node towards the bottom?
Yeah, but just without looking at charts, most of you would say 45.50s. Right, because you're targeting even numbers, and most of the people do that. So you'd be targeting somewhere, which is this volume node, and this was your, you know, I'm not trying to go into setups, but this was your setup right here that you'd be targeting 45.50, correct? But they did it really, really good on Thursday and Friday, right? We dumped, we came here, and then they bounced. At the same time, let me show you this. I spent some time analyzing earlier for you guys. Put in a PowerPoint as well. Let me see if I know how to move this. Maybe I don't. Okay, there it goes. Okay, so let's go here. So this was the dump, right? You guys see it here? Pay attention to the details now, and then we'll go and kind of explain the bounce. Look at this delta here coming in at 2 o'clock, right? So this is on 7:20. I believe that was a Thursday, right? 7:20, yeah, Thursday. So look at the delta. It's coming down. The volume picked up right at 2 o'clock. 91,000 contracts exchanged on this candle here. And you can tell there's some aggressive buyers on this candle right here that I'm circling, that I will circle. How do you guys know that there's aggressiveness here in this candle? Anyone? Besides the delta, right? Don't look at delta. What can you tell that there's aggressiveness here?
More volume on the ask side.
Yeah, the
Okay.
large numbers on the ask.
There's a lot of ask, but where do you see a problem? Where's your kind of, your ear should kind of, eye should pop out somewhere. Anyone see it?
Is it the completed auction at the top?
The completed auction, but look at the bid side here versus ask, right? There's
Yeah.
somebody aggressively saying, hey, we're gonna go down. I'm not interested. And prior to that candle, you have another completed auction and there was an aggressive buyer here, right? You guys see him? He came in here and he bid pretty aggressively, right? It's a pretty good imbalance, 993 to 550. That's pretty good. And then to the left, what happened here? Is there an aggressive again? So you're seeing that they're defending this area. There's a buyer sitting there. Once you break these buyers, there's a strong chance that you're going to go lower. And that's what they did. Then the seller showed up, right, from the 77, and they drove the price all the way down to about 64-ish, right? 63. And you see a lot of, strong selling, and the high volume nodes kind of concentrated here. This is your high volume node of this candle, right? And then immediately, what do you see? Remember that 30-minute candle when I showed it looked like it was going to bounce, but it never made. And this one never made a higher high, right? It's lower than this one. That's the two candles. You see the delta went up, right? But what happened to volume between these two?
Decreased.
It went down.
The volume is not as strong, right? So sometimes you have a lot of people get confused between absorption and inside candle. If you're to summarize the difference between it, who wants to take a stab at it? What's the difference between absorption and consolidation?
Well, consolidation would have like lower volume and not much movement, but absorption would have a larger movement and high volume, right?
That is correct. And who do you think participates one versus the other?
I
Who are
don't
the
know that.
participants? Well, just think logically.
For consolidation, it would be the big people because they don't want to show what they're doing, right?
It could be, and it's mainly driven, believe it or not, by algos.
Consolidation passive buyers, like absorption aggressive participants.
That's correct. So on absorption, you guys are both correct. On absorption, you have aggressive sellers that come in, but then it's driven by other time frame participants that are sitting with the orders, market passive buyers, right? They come in, these guys are aggressive selling, and these are guys just passive buying. And at one point, you're gonna call it, it's called pretty much the pinch zone, right? Where you come in and you see almost like just think of a trampoline or a bounce board. Like imagine you're jumping in a pool, gravity's taking you down, and then the bounce board, poop. But in order to see the bounce, what do you need to see? You need to see the volume. Look at the volume on this candle here. What do you see between at 330? What do you see in the volume? It doubled.
Yeah,
Double.
double increase.
And the delta, this is enough for us to see the delta as this is solid. 1450, you go from -10, this one is almost like a trap, right? You see the 2 and then a negative. The sellers take over again, but the delta between this one and this one, the volume is almost identical, right? You see 91, 91, but the delta, what does it tell you between this candle and this candle? They're both aggressive, but this one is just not as aggressive. There's sellers that are taking off. They're like, man, I'm good and I'm not selling here. What is do you guys remember the dual tape that I showed you guys in volume profile? Do you guys recall that?
Yeah.
But if I'm a seller, I'm not interested to sell the peanut butter this low. What do I want to see as a seller? I want you to drive the price to interest me back into selling. And that's exactly what happens. They're no longer interested in selling at low prices. The buyers come in, the passive buyers come and execute the order in abundance, right? They come in, and this is a key in absorption, is that you want to see a jump in volume. You want to see takeover and volume. And then I typically, this is my setup. It doesn't mean you have to trade it the same way. I look for the POC of this candle or imbalances. If this imbalance was here stacked on 3, it's stacked in 2, meaning, let's look at this, for instance, right here. This is your 2 stack imbalance right here, meaning 1000 to 231, 350 to 75, and imbalance is more than 3 to 1, right? So this imbalance becomes also a good buy zone, right? If this one was stacked here, I mean, if this one was, let's say this 17 was here, man, this would be a beauty, right? I would most likely wait for this one versus the POC because the magnetism would be towards this level. Even now, I'll probably, if we open, let's say tonight, and we come to this level 45.60, what do you think I'm going to do? I'm going to hop in, find a stop loss somewhere below and play it. If I get stopped out on a reclaim of it, so break, retest, if it comes back, I'll take it long again, right? And that's what I did on Friday, if you guys recall, when we came back. Do you guys remember I was down within 4 minutes of trading? It was the same setup. Identical setups. But now if you just look at this POC, for instance, a little bit safer, and because here you're allowing some selling to happen once you break the cumulative POC on this candle. But if you look at this now, you don't necessarily have to take it out on a breakout. What else can you do then? Well, let's just zoom out. What happens here? I'm just going to zoom out. You might not see the numbers. Pay attention to the volume and the candles. Here's the candle that we had. Once you go here and you come back, what day is this? 7/21? Is it 9:30 candles here? Here's this. Look what happened here. Where are they coming? Is it the same? I just highlighted the POC for you guys. Look where they came. They came to the imbalance, right? The buying, and the buyer said, yeah, I'm still here. And boom, they went up higher, they ripped, and then, they came again, and look at the volume again. So now, do I trust this level as much? You see the volume here picked up again. Between these two candles, now the volume doubled and the delta doubled as well. Is it the same setup as it was here?
No.
Totally different. Does everybody see that?
Yeah.
It's totally different, guys. Because right now, the delta doubled here at resistance and they made a new low. There's some buyers that stepped in. We obviously on, let's say tonight or Monday morning when we open, we need a spike in volume to reclaim this, right? So I really wouldn't be interested, till they probably reclaim somewhere around here, the POC, clean up, 67-ish, and then I'll probably look for a long. But as of right now, a different setup. But the key is this bounce that happened here. You came in, this guy defended it and came back, and look, if you hopped in with this guy, that's what I did, you made some money. And that's the example of an absorption. The sellers getting exhausted and being absorbed by passive buyers, aggressive sellers, market sellers, passive buyers. They're selling, but the price is not going lower. If the price continued, that means that there's more aggressive sellers than buyers and they took over. And in this case right now, they broke this buyer, right? Even though there's still one more level for buyers to kind of respect itself. What is it? What is the key? The imbalance is now the key. If they're able to take over this imbalance right here, then we know, right? Let me go. If they're able to take over this imbalance right here, then we know that, this buyer is gone. As much as buying as he did, there was just a little bit more selling, more aggressive selling, and they took over and most likely we're headed lower. So does this make sense to everyone? It's important that you guys start seeing it, right? And I left the footprints and delta charts on Friday after I was done, just so you guys can see it and get more familiar. The more you look at it, the easier it becomes. So does this make sense? It was a really, really good trade in the morning. Does it make sense?
Yeah, Shorty.
Okay. And then if you're interested in selling, why was the selling occurring there? There's probably a lot of reasons why you could find this sell-off right here. So if you look at 45.90, I think I even mentioned the level to you. But if you just look at the volume profile on this level right here, If you take this right here and you take it, let's just extend that POC. Where do we reject? This is just your typical, what we know, volume accumulation setup. If you highlight it here and came back, look where it rejected. So you could have played long, came back here, short, and then you would have caught it for another 20 something points. Right? So hopefully you guys can see it. I mean, I know like, oh, Shorty, you're doing the post fact. Well, I traded it live with you guys and I took it long from here. Right? And I was done. I wasn't interested in trading and I had to be with kiddos, but I took this and I, made quite a bit of money and I was done. And all you need is one setup like this, that where you see it, you trust yourself, you analyze it and go from there. Okay. Any questions on this?
No, Shorty.
Okay. Let me see how I move this guy. All right. Let's go. All right. All right. So what I did here, I'm just running. Let's see. I'm running. This one, I'm running the bottom on the monthlies, I believe. Yeah, I'm running the monthly bottom. So I'm looking for opportunities. This is, if you're new, this is based on custom Keltner channels, right? And it's, if you think about Keltner channels, they're similar to Bollinger Bands. Keltner channels use, average true range, while Bollinger Bands use standard deviations. Both are correct. There's some, difference in the Keltner channels that I use versus the standard ones. They're just a little bit more customized to what I'm trading, right? And what I do every month for myself in my portfolio, I will look at the shares that are good companies with, a good track record financially, and then, they have, the way I gauge it also is fundamental, but then are you using the product? Right? I know Apple is a good company, right? I would not buy it personally right here. But if you had the opportunity to buy Apple at $70, I'd most likely buy it. Would I buy it 90? Yes. I'd buy it at those levels because, it's heavy usage in my life, my friends, my family. And I look at the same stocks, when I'm, that doesn't necessarily mean I'm buying every single one, right? And I use their products, but sometimes it's just like, hey, is it a good company? What's the perception of the market? What is the value, right? Is there value for myself for long term? And that's how I determine that. And basically then we look at this and I note them down in here, right? So there are some shares that we triggered, right? Where they trigger the entries, we kind of notate this, and thanks to Dumpster, he helps us manage this. So he identifies the ones that triggered, and you're able to kind of build up some stocks if you want to buy it. That's the idea where I want to buy it, and I buy them there. So today we'll do the same thing. We're going to run the monthly scans. I'm not interested in looking at weekly scans or dailies. I just want to know on the long term monthly, what is beat up, what sectors are beat up, and go from there. From initial glance, I did see a lot of healthcare and financials. I personally am not sold on financials just yet, right? I know the banks have, they've had some ER. Or, I just don't know if, they're done with the liquidity and, deposits yet on the banks. I'm not interested in adding too much in the portfolio just now. If I add, it might be one or two that really has a lot of support, like on the Keltner channels and volume profile. I wouldn't mind adding, but the stronger of the bunch, right? Okay, so with that being said, we'll start looking at some of it. So let's start. And if you guys see any ticker that you want that's not on this list, I mean, just scream, just say something, and then we'll go from there. And I'm going to shift this to my other screen here so I can take notes. Okay, let's see. You guys know that MMM, I have shares. I have quite a bit of shares of MMM. They're really good dividends. And I would say that they're a good company. If you guys look at their portfolio of brands, they're loaded. And here, if you guys look, you're talking about you have the monthly, bottom here. We are in a monthly bottom cloud. Basically, it's consolidation, right? They're buying it here. I added here pretty much on any dip below 100, I added, right? And then now you have the weekly bottom. And eventually what we want to see is the weekly bottom shifts, that the supports shifts to about 104. And they'll open up the run to 127 and 150 on MM, and in the meantime, we just collect the dividends. So I do have that one. I'm not gonna add it to our portfolio or my portfolio because I do have quite a bit of it. I'm not sure what G is, but we'll take a look at it. Genpact, I've never heard of it. But if you look here, this is exactly the one, this is exactly what I wanna see from MM. What did I say? I wanna see what? I wanna see the weekly shift up, and the weekly bottom shifted, and look where they're bouncing. So their support is shifting higher, and ultimately probably go to 43. I would have to look at this one, see what it is and how are the, financials on it, but I would most likely add this. I'm not able to.
It's a BPO.
It's a what?
It's a business process outsourcing company.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Is it US?
Yeah, it's a US, but pretty much they have a lot of operations in India. A lot of companies are, they have like top tier companies as well.
Okay. So anywhere between 37 and 38, this might be worth adding a little bit. And I would have to look at their financials. And when I don't know the company, obviously don't jump in with both feet. I would slow down and look, maybe add a little bit and then go from there, right? Target, we can take a look at Target. So they've been in the news a lot. And what do you know? Where did they bounce from? They came to the monthly bottom, they went 70 cents in, and now, the weekly bottom shifted up, which is good for them. So, from the clouds perspective, I think this is good. I think they're gonna go to about 147 or so. So breaking 137, if you wanna play options, call it break here, catch that, backdoor on the top of it here, probably drive it $10 to 147. I wouldn't be surprised to see that within 4 weeks here. I'm not adding shares here. I want it below 125, so. I'll be interested somewhere close to 100 and 105 on target. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know what that is, but I'm not interested in that. Let's see, healthcare. Does anyone know what this is? IART. It looks really good here. Yeah, I might add some of this. Ooh. Oh, this looks solid, whatever this is. Massimo. I like this one here a lot. I don't know what they do. It seems like they're in healthcare, but probably some kind of function there. But I'll take a look at this one. I do like it between 108, 103. If I can catch, hundreds, that'd be great. But this is seems like they might. I don't know why the sell off. We'll have to look into it. But this looks pretty good. I mean, it touched the monthly bottom. Look at the last bounce here from 107 to 195. I mean, this looks promising. So I'll take a look at this one. I don't know what NVC are, but all of the healthcare. This one looks very good as well. I'll probably add some of this. NVCR. And if you guys know any of these, you can speak up if I don't. This one also looks very good. What is going on with healthcare? I mean, this one over 75 goes to 118. OMCL. Omnicell? Man, this looks pretty good too. They're not gonna break 66. Okay. Wow. Look at the monthly bottom, like bottom line, and then the weekly bottom. 25 to 35, guys. So it does pretty good on these. And here's your CVS. I think we had CVS on our list. I'm looking for it. Yeah, we had it. Mhm. What is this? Yeah, CVS here was really, really good. I wouldn't mind buying this at 53, 50 to 53 is what I want. I know this is potentially a good bounce here, but I want to hear 52. I'll keep that. Wow. God almighty, what is this? Does anyone know what this is? Wow. This has a potential for a sweet bounce here. I like this. I like this one as well from the risk to reward perspective. We just have to see what happened on a sell-off here. All of them completed monthly cycles. So this one I would not buy. Not this one. This one has a lot of support here. Some kind of PCRX. I don't know. Did anyone get Pfizer? I added quite a bit of Pfizer. I don't know if anyone did, but you see that there's a lot of support, the daily bottom, weekly bottom. So once they break 38, we're targeting some of the levels above, would be 42, 46, 54. I do have that one. Or PRX. I don't like this one, just too much overhead at the moment. Same with this one here. Too far. They already had their bounce. You guys see from the weekly bottoms, they already bounced. Yeah, I'm not interested in any of these. I'll be interested in shorting all the financials here. Yeah, this one's ready to come back down. Zion. This one as well, ready to come back down. What is this? Some kind of trust. Yeah, I don't like financials. I think they're ready for a leg down. Thought I said Trump for a second. This one looks good. Does anyone know what this is? This one looks promising here. It's not a lot of meat on that. I'm not playing it for $8. But this one looks good. What is this? Simo? No. No. Here's your Disney. I mean, a lot of people are watching this, right? Yeah, I'm really not interested in it yet. A lot of people are buying it, right? But obviously, if they really, if I was to buy this, I'd rather buy it over 92 than buy it here. Right, so for me, I really think that it's gonna go, the first step is here between these two, 82, but ultimately where I'd wanna buy it is somewhere around, there's a huge support at 64 on volume profile. And then it goes literally to 30, right? So I think 30 to 35 is gonna be my target. So I'm not interested in buying it until they restructure ESPN, Disney Plus. I'm not really interested in it. What is this? UGI utilities. This looks interesting here. Yeah, this looks interesting here. UGI. Real estate, I'm not really not interested in adding much here. I think they're ready for a down cycle here. So these are all set up for pushing back all the way to weekly bottom to 46. I already checked them out yesterday. So I'm not interested in any of these. TLT is still on the bottom here. So this is all I have on the, I would say on a monthly bottom right now. Is there any tickers that you guys are interested in seeing? So honestly, the shopping list this time is not as heavy. I have 11 tickers, and out of those 11, I'll probably buy 3 to 4, right? That I would add to the portfolio because I did take some stuff off from my portfolio. So I will look to add some of these here and look, kind of scan them, look at the volume profiles on them. Then I'll look at the financials, and then I would be like, okay, I'm willing to buy this much at this price. Another one I'm watching here, I know it's not on the list here, but is Oxy. I'm still not interested in adding this. I think 55 was good. That's where they bounced from last time. It's not bad, but if they break 55, then you see the 42 is really, really solid play.
Shorty, what is your thoughts on ZS and Crowd?
ZS what? Oh,
Yeah,
ZS.
ZS. Yeah, I know we got in at the bottom and we quit at 150. I'm just still holding for this year, so just want to see what's your
I
opinion.
don't have any left here.
Okay, okay,
Yeah, I sold all of ZS.
okay.
So yeah, we got it here on the bottom, right? And
Yeah, that's
well,
right.
most were selling. We added, and I'm out of it now. So
Okay.
if we clear 166, we run 243. That's my opinion. You clear this level, you have no resistance to go to 240s. So I think that's doable. And I don't, when is their ER?
I don't know exact
Yeah,
date. Like
it's
I'm
in
just
September.
waiting for them.
So yeah, I would wait for this level. They're gonna consolidate, right? And you could potentially buy it. You know, it depends what's your average, 136. But I personally would not buy it here. If you can catch 123, that'd be great. And the break of 160 and retest, that would be good.
Okay.
And then you said
Thanks, Shorty.
Crowd, right?
Yeah,
And
Crowd.
let's see. Yeah, I wouldn't buy. Unfortunately, I wouldn't buy Crowd here.
Yeah, both of them I'm holding from the bottom,
Okay,
like
yeah.
because I had not
So
checked it.
this one you want to break, you know, we have to break this 165, and then you literally have 50 points.
Okay.
You have zero resistance.
Thanks, Shorty.
Yeah. For instance, I know somebody's eyeing Tesla. Tesla here it hit a couple of resistance points now, right? They hit the daily. There's the weekly top. They played a backdoor. So if Tesla loses, let's say 244, $30 drop, it's gonna be fairly quick. And it has a long way to go. And I mean, it's almost like there's too much resistance right now at the top for me to even consider playing it. So let me remove the quarterly. So I honestly would not, if they break over the 300, I think it was 303 that I had on my volume profile. They could run this to 360 right now. And if they lose this 245, they're going 210, 175. I do think 133 is going to happen this year. So I would hold my cash for this for Tesla. Okay. Apple. You tell me if you should buy here. I'm not interested in buying any of this. It needs to have a pretty significant pullback for me to even consider it, right? Let's see. NVIDIA, of course, is going to be same thing, 146. I would not look at it. AMD, I think 87 is going to be a decent price to add. You're going to have about 94, 95. I think you're going to get a great bounce here. And that's exactly what volume profile is saying as well. It's pointing more towards this level. So once we lose 104, you can catch this $10 short, which is not bad. And then I'll probably close it all out as we approach these levels, right? If they ever bring it back to 56, that was my kind of entry last time. I'd probably buy it again. Okay. What other tickers do you guys have from your side?
Can you check Microsoft?
Yep.
I think it's sort of like hitting double top, so just want to see.
Yeah, it has a double top, Apple double top. So obviously losing 323 puts it back down. I would say it has 312, losing that 287. I'll be interested in 287, but I wouldn't add heavy here. At 226, I'll be interested. And they just completed. So if you think about Microsoft here, it just completed a full monthly cycle here. And what I mean by that, so here, let me show you. You see the monthly bottom, we tapped, that was a great buy. And now we just completed the full cycle from the bottom to the top, right? So now it's most likely going to be headed to 283. I know it sounds crazy, but we're going to be coming back here to 283 now. So this will not be a bad ad if you want to scalp some shares on Microsoft, but we're ready for a pullback here. We just completed the full cycle. I would not, me personally, I would not add here. There's no freaking way I would buy here.
Thanks, Shorty. That's all I have.
Anyone else? Come on.
Netflix.
Netflix, same thing. Here's your Netflix. We went to the bottom. We did that bullish money shot here, and you just completed the whole cycle. Look at the candle here. You're headed to 328. So buying. Actually, I'm gonna do that. Let me add that to my notes. I will buy. What is that? 330 or 350 puts for December or March or December. December or March 2024. Yeah, they're ready for a down cycle here. They just completed a full cycle here. And that's, I mean, it takes time, right? So if you think about it, we started at 718. We just completed 731 of this year. So a full year, they completed a 1 year to complete the cycle up. Most people don't know, what that means, but you're ready to come back to 330. And you can pin this conversation, write it down, and just remind me when it happened. Okay. Yeah, I would definitely look for a short. Once they lose 414, the doors open. Like they open up, the floodgate opens. Okay. That's it. I'm glad you brought this one up. What else do you guys have? Come on.
AAP.
A who?
AAP.
Is this advanced out of parts yet?
Yeah, I think it was on the scan watch
Yeah.
list last time we did this.
AAP was on there. Let me see what we had for it. AAP we had at the level that it's at right now. I mean, we said reclaim of 71.7 was great on it. If it drops, I'm just telling you, if it drops to, let's say, if this one, we change this to quarterlies here. You know, so right now it's holding that, and I don't think it's a bad level to add here. In my opinion, this is a good recession stock. It's just in my, the way I think is people are not gonna be buying new cars, especially inflated prices. What are you gonna be doing? You're gonna be fixing. And these companies, this one and AutoZone, benefit from it. So I don't think this is a bad ad at 70 here. Is there a chance that they can dip lower? And if they go to, let's say, $25, $30, I would really load the boat. I'll buy a lot on this. But even here, I think they're ready for a bounce. You see the selling slowing down, the momentum candles are shifting, and it's a lot of buyers absorbing here. So I probably will add some. Actually, I will add AAP here. I'm glad you mentioned it. I'll add some tomorrow. 70, 71. The one add heavy, maybe 100 shares or so, just to have a starter position on that. Thanks for bringing it up. What else do you guys have? Don't be shy. Throw them out. This is the beauty of it. If you have something you're watching and you bring it up, I see it, you guys see it, and most people can benefit from it. So
AYX?
which one?
AYX?
American, or is it Alteryx? Alteryx. I guess I looked at this before. I don't know. Is this clothing store?
I don't know. I was just going through my watch list, looking at monthly bottoms and tops and saw it.
Yeah, this is at the weekly bottom here. Let me change this to monthly. I mean, this is executing a really bullish setup here. So if it comes back to about 37, I don't know what they do, but it's not bad at all. AYX. And just think about it, a diversified portfolio, I don't even know what this company is, right? But sometimes when you're buying technically like this, you can grow a portfolio on these bounces. This goes to 54. I mean, you'd be, dumb not to take some profits, right? You're almost doubling your money. So that's how you grow the long-term portfolio is you look 30, 40%, you make it, and then you look for another opportunity to repeat the whole cycle. And the less you buy on FOMO, the more you buy off of these support levels, the more likely you can compound and grow your account, right? So this is not a bad opportunity here. Who was asking? I couldn't tell your name. Don't recognize who it was.
It's Mitch.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got you now. Your icon in your Discord reminds me of a World Cup icon from '98 in soccer, just so you know. I don't know if that's what it is.
No, it's the University of Kansas.
Oh, go look up
But I'll
98
remember.
World Cup mascot. Maybe some of you guys were not even born. All right, what else do you guys have? So some other ones that I want, like Clorox, I'm really interested in it. And you know what I mentioned earlier, hopefully you guys heard me, completed the full cycle here, monthly bottom to the top. And where do we reject? At the monthly top. Where do we bounce? These lines colors correspond. Purple, purple, and where do we bounce? Monthly mid, right? So this is a monthly top, monthly bottom, and it completed the cycle. Now they're going to find some buyers if they want to get aggressive. 160 gets broken, we go to 168. Could I have played this 150 to 168? Yes. I'm a greedy bastard when it comes to shares. Like I want the best buck for my dollar, right? I want to get the best value. So I don't want to buy it here. I want to buy it at 123 and I'll just sit and wait. And once this company comes to there, I'll buy it. But I'm really particular on shares and the way I buy them, and I would not buy it here, even though it's not a bad deal. I could catch 20 bucks. I'd rather play options if it's liquid enough on the option side, but I would not buy shares here. So I'm still watching that one. What's the CarMax? Is it CarMax? Yeah. Okay. Okay, so this is what we had last time. We said monthly bottom, they bounced, and it just completed the cycle to the mid, and they're struggling to go over 87. Do you guys recall that we talked about shorting this at this level? I'm not missing it this time, so. Okay, so as long as we don't break 90, and if you're to grab volume here, fixed volume profile, you can find the level right here somewhere. It would probably be around here, 95 or 97. So I'm probably going to look to enter short if there's liquidity in the options to short it. If not, I'll just short it with shares. I'm interested in shorting this because I think dealers like CVNA, CarMax, they're going to be taking a beating soon. I'll watch this one. I'm really interested in shorting this. Because if they're on a commercial real estate and they don't own land, do you guys know what that means in terms of rates? Does anyone follow commercial real estate?
Yeah, they are due for renewal. I think 2024. Higher interest
Exactly.
rate, higher rent. It's all the things going to blow up.
So that's 75% of their loans are, do you think they're on variable or fixed rates?
Commercials are variable. It's going to
Commercials
refinance,
all
I think.
variable. So what do you think that what happens to their rent now?
It's
So
going
they're
to increase
skyrocketing.
dramatically.
And if they're due for renewal, you know, you're going to be paying some premium for the lots that you have. And then think about what happened with the car values. They also had to, I mean, I don't know if you guys, for shits and giggles, I would go and sometimes price my car. Like I think it was Carvana was one of them. There's another website I did. I forgot. I'll have to look it up in my email. But basically they would, on my initial car that I have, a Subaru Outback, they would, you know, I paid 32. They would offer like 27 grand. And this car is now 7 years old. We bought it new. And it's like, hold on, it just depreciated 6 grand ever since we bought it, and you want to buy it with 80,000 miles. It didn't make sense, but they did buy them. I had friends that sold the cars to these companies, and they would just buy like a little junk car, or if they had car they didn't need because they were working from home, and now they're going back and getting a better deal on the cars. So I think they have a lot of inflated assets on their books, and now add the rent. Well, they're going to have to liquidate some assets, and if they're liquidating assets and not making money, I'll be there to catch it. So I'm going to be looking for short this, and this accelerates below 81. Once this breaks 81, we catch it for $10, and then 64 is the target. I will close around 64, but ultimately it's going to go to 58. I won't miss this one this time. I'm going to look at it tomorrow. Google, for instance, if you guys see, Google's the one that's been lagging compared to the rest, right? So we did bounce it. I did have shares of Google here. I did sell them already. But right now, if they break 129-ish, 130, they're going to go to 138, and that would mark the completion of the cycle on Google. We're not going to break 147, so I know that much. Amazon, you guys see that they have a little bit of space. They're accumulating here. They went to the same price Google did, and now they have opportunity to go about 156. And this was the, I mean, this was the lengthy consolidation on Amazon that we had, right? So, you know, it would be really difficult for them to get inside here and close too many times here, but let's see what they do. I don't see them breaking 145-ish at all, but let's see. What else you guys have? Come on, hit me.
Square, SQ.
SQ, man, this one just disappeared off the radar for a while. So there's 2 ways to play this one. Anyone want to take a stab? How?
Like short the tops, like just play it as a range because it looks like it's consolidating.
Yeah, it's just consolidating, right? So you have this, I would say, top right here. So if it breaks the monthly mid, which is the purple line here, the dotted or dashed, we break 85 and hold it, you can catch this and we can make 40 bucks a share. Most likely it's going to complete the cycle to the top side. The only thing, if you kind of go here, and I'll just go on the monthly for a moment so you guys can see it, is that this monthly, you know, started here, right? But this run has not completed the monthly cycle yet. So I would, if I was going to buy the shares and hold, I know it sounds crazy, but it'd be closer to $40, right? And if I'm playing the momentum breakout, I need them to go over this level right here. I break this level here, come back to here, and then I'll probably, you know, you could catch this momentum because then you would get the retail, you get the momentum, and you know, just from the Wyckoff theory as well, they give you a test, come back, and that's where I would look to add somewhere around here. So either I buy here or a break and retest here, because then you know, if you guys think about the V thingy that I keep telling you guys, some buyers, you know, they buy shares. I don't mean to do that. So some people buy shares, I would say here as it's falling down, or you could break it on a retest when it reclaims that level. And that's that level that I'm talking about here. Reclaim this level and you'll minimally, you won't have a lot of drawdown because then it's going to be in the uptrend. Does that make sense? Hopefully that's. Yeah. Let's see what else. PayPal, I know people are probably going to ask for it. PayPal actually has a ton of support here. Monthly bottom, weekly bottom around 59.62. I think it's not a bad ad. I personally won't have it in my portfolio, but some people that like it and find the reason to like it is not bad. 59.62. Not looking to add that. And does PayPal own Venmo, or is somebody also Venmo? I don't know who owns Venmo, but maybe it's PayPal.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure PayPal owns Venmo.
I mean, there's some reason to add it then. If they do own Venmo, it's taking over a little bit. Okay, let's see. What else do you guys have? AMC, I know there was a spike here recently. I don't know if you guys watched. But here's, you know, AMC's on the weekly bottom. So if it comes back to 368, not a bad play to kind of catch some squeeze because this can, you know, obviously did what it did a few years back. But even adding is somewhere around 374, not a bad risk to reward to hold it. And in case these morons do the same thing again, you'll be able to catch a nice little dip to about $10 or $20 run. Let's see, since I'm here. If it goes back to 17, it's most likely once it loses 22, it's going to 17. And then if it loses this, it's going to hit 10. Obviously, I won't add this to my portfolio, but let's see what else. I was watching for this one. I was watching for short opportunity. And I think it's right there where I would want it. Weekly mid here, and then losing 135 probably triggers 116. I'm looking for shorting this. That's not bad, 20 bucks per share. We'll watch that. Okay. What else do you guys have? Anyone?
I just put a bunch if you want to look at that list, Shorty.
Do you mind like telling me what you got?
On YouTube, there's somebody asking for NVX, ENVX, MA, KBB, TSM, and SNAP.
NVAX is the one that was involved in the vaccine. I mean, yeah. NVAX and anywhere close to $7, probably not bad. Ideally 5 if it hits anywhere between 4.7 and 4.52. I'd add it. I don't know. I did check mRNA and Moderna, and they're also coming back to the level of 117, and that's the level they've been bouncing. Last time we came back to this level, I don't know when. It was right here. We bounced and you know, we popped here because this was the news about the potential new variant, if you guys remember, and we actually called this one in one of the watch lists. And we're coming back to it again, so it's a really risky play. I don't know what all they produced, right? They became familiar only when the COVID came around, but not a bad high risk, high reward at 117. And here, 83 would probably not be a bad ad because there's going to be buyers sitting there. You said MA?
Yeah.
Master? I would not touch MasterCard here personally at all. They're going to top out here at 422. Losing 392 is not a bad short to 385. I'm just not interested in this till it hits like 290. This is my long-term portfolio, guys. I don't buy stuff just because it took a small retracement here or here. For me, it needs to go back to 290 for me to find value at it, and my value would be at the bottom of the monthlies. So at 356, it's gonna have a huge bounce, probably about $30-$40 bounce. We go from 356 to about 390, but I'm not interested in it till it reaches. It's actually setting up for a completion of the monthly cycle completely here. So if you'll think about it here, this monthly cycle here, and it's about to complete here at 422. I'm not interested in that one there. Let me find your list.
KBB.
KBB, is that Kelly Blue Book?
Yeah. Wow, there's a lot of requests in YouTube right now.
KBB. It's not coming up for me. Coin. Wow, coin is at 100. And they have a potential to run to 160 now, as long as they hold 95. I'm not interested in buying it. But yeah, this has potential to open up now. All the way up. So breaking this high here, it's gonna cause like a major momentum. We will have to check volume profile on it, but breaking 115 leaves 116 play really, really easy here. AI losing 37 goes back to 22. So I wouldn't be interested in this. Is this like true AI company or something, or just name of it? Yeah, let's look at meme stock or something. Yeah, I completed all the cycles here. So losing this 37 opens up the door downside. I wouldn't be interested in this. 28, I would be, and 22, and ideally at 18, but I don't think we get this anytime soon. The one, of course, yeah, I don't know if you guys been following me. I've been adding UNG for some time now. They came to weekly bottom. Now they reclaim this. Once they break 865, the next level would be 16. So I can double my money here really quick. I've been adding this left to right, so nothing new here. Okay.
Yeah, I got some UNG as well.
Let's see. ENVX. Let me see. Let's see. ENVX. ENVX will hold this 19.1. This is a backdoor on a weekly, and it's probably going to hit 25. All right, you'll have resistance at 21.22, so you watch out for that. Me for long shares, of course, I don't know what the company is, but it looks, I don't scan for stocks below $20, but maybe I should. At $10, it would be a good ad because that'd be the weekly bottom, but they need to lose 17 for me to get 10. So I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. It has a lot of support here. So most likely headed to 25 on the ENVX. See what else we have. MDB. I know this one. Missed this one actually. We had it, if you guys go back through our spreadsheets, we had this one here. At the monthly bottom, if you guys recall, I don't know who does or who's not, but it came here at 150 and now it just completed the full cycle to the monthly here. So I'm not obviously interested in adding this. I think they had an ER that caused the spike here. Yeah, I'll be interested. At 290 here, you have the weekly mid and a monthly mid. If you want to, stab on some shares or options, this is a good level here. And I used to trade this, but the liquidity and options not the best on this. So Yeah, I would not be interested in buying shares here personally. I would look for potential short as they reach 450 here. They'll most likely reach 450 soon. Neo, that's the Chinese car company, I believe. Yeah, it looks like it might be a pullback to about 9. Not a bad spot to add. I had Neo really cheap. I sold it, I believe it. I think it hit 52 at some point. I think I did sell it there. Yeah. I think I sold it here somewhere. I had it here, sold it up there, but I didn't add. Maybe if it comes back somewhere around here between $5 and $6, I'd add. Even 687 is not a bad add here. So that's what I would wait for. 8 or 690, and then ideally 5.7, but I don't think we'll get that. Maybe, but I don't know. Their books are different. You know, they're not on GAAP standards for reporting of financials and stuff like that. So I'm not really, I would say, into it, into financial companies like Baba, right? We called out Baba a few times. If you guys remember, you know, I shorted Baba. Where was it? I think it was it here? I don't know. Maybe it was, no, it was here. I shorted Baba here no, I'm sorry. I shorted Baba here and then it plummeted all the way to the level that we want at 78 volume profile. It was not a bad buy, but everybody got excited on Twitter about buying it here. And this is where it's going to reject because that's the monthly mid. So now it needs to clear 104 to go to 133. And that's not a bad play to play on options. Clear 104, retest, and it's going to get 133 this time. So let's see what we got. TSM. I think we had TSM on the watch list, right? Off the monthly here, but with Warren Buffett stepping out of it, something signaled, you know, something's wrong here. Either he knows something or there's political risk associated with it. But I think if it goes to 116, it might not be a bad short. I will not be looking to add this unless it comes back to monthly bottoms. I search for monthly bottoms to buy shares, so I would not be interested in it. Snap, that actually looks pretty good. I don't know what they do company-wide, but this is not Snap-on car manufacturing, is it? Like their parts?
No, it's like another social media company, kind of.
Yeah, so I can't buy it. I would not buy this. It would need to break the 13 hold and then it can drive to 27, right? That would be the ideal. Come here, build a base, build a value above here, you know, get more buyers interested in it. So it needs, I don't know what they, like you said, social media, I don't know what their product map is, roadmap, but anywhere on the bottom here, 8 to 680 is not bad. I will have to look at their financials, see if they even justify that. But yeah, I would look between 8 and 6 and 8. And when you buy shares, I'm very patient when I buy shares. So yeah, that I would not buy here. Snap, TSM, MDB, SoFi. SoFi, I have some shares. Actually, I'm green on SoFi shares. So SoFi came here to the weekly bottom. They held, I mean, they hit 4. So from this level, actually, I think I'm up like 30% on it. Not a lot of shares though. I'm not heavy into it. But almost completing a monthly cycle here, so I would not be interested. And you see this was a consolidation sell-off, so I wouldn't be interested in buying necessarily here. I have some shares. If they're to drop somewhere in sub 3 to 4, I'd probably add it, but not interested in adding shares so far here. Riven, I think this is a car company. We had it last week, right? Or I'm sorry, last month. So they did come back almost to the monthly bottom here. Yeah, I wouldn't be interested in here, honestly, into buying any of this. Probably around 15, I'd be interested in on Rivian. ENPH, I think this is solar. Yeah, EMPH around. We did SQ already, but EMPH not till 123. And UNH, United Healthcare, I believe that's what that one is. We already missed the target on that, if you guys recall. Our target was about 450. And if you did not catch it here, then you probably have some waiting to do. They might go to the monthly top here as they break 533, 581. This was our initial target here on UNH, if you remember. So if you didn't get it, you missed it. AUPH. Yeah, I mean, it popped from here and then it has a little bit to go here. As long as it holds 10, it's going to 16. I'll be careful at 16. I don't know what they do, obviously. Pharmaceutical companies can pop out of nowhere just because their results and testing, and if they have good stuff coming out for cures, right? But as long as it hold 10 and 966 to 10.5 is not a bad ad. Actually, I'll take a look at this one, see what they do. So I'll take a look at this one. APH. Okay. I wrote it down. Riot. Isn't this for some reason I think of Bitcoin. Is this the reason why I'm thinking of Bitcoin? Does it have anything to do with Bitcoin? Maybe I'm wrong ticket.
I think they're a Bitcoin miner.
Yeah, I'll only be interested if it comes back to this 11.5 to 10.5. I would not buy it otherwise. I'll actually add it to our list. 10.5, 11.5 opportunity. And do you guys see what it did here? So we had the monthly bottom, right? So monthly probably shifted from some time. But even here, if you caught it at 3, completed the whole cycle up now. So the only way it can go higher is if it breaks 22.3 here. This range here, I don't trade, right? And then you have about 30 as the next level. So it should be about, what, 50% or so. So I'll watch that. Ideally, you want to add it here in this zone. Dot it here. KSM, what do you think of the cloud since you did win them in toss?
Sorry, come again, Shorty?
So what do you think of cloud since you're one of the few that have them in toss?
Oh, it's pretty good. It's pretty accurate. At least for ES, I usually use it intraday. It's pretty deadly.
Yeah. XLV. Actually, I watched this one at the end. Oh, I saw this one the other day pop up on my screen and it popped up for a reason. So it just completed pretty much the whole weekly cycle here. I wouldn't be interested in buying it just yet unless it breaks 140, but the meat for the upside is not enough for me, right? I mean, I'm not willing to pay 140 to make $7 a share. At 117, I'd be a buyer, right? If I can catch this, I'd buy there. So 117 would be 117 to 120 on XLV. And it wouldn't be top of my list. Okay. See, INTC. Damn, did I miss INTC? I did miss one. I added some, but not enough. So we just completed half cycle on the monthly. They have to clear 37. I think there's something brewing with the government and Intel and TSM. Remember my theory that I think Intel becomes a buyer of TSM if they can create more chaos in Taiwan, get their technologies and stuff like that. But I think this is not bad anywhere between 25, 27. I think it's huge support there. So if you have patience, INTC is really good in that range. And I have it between there. I'll have to check on my port. It's a pretty good buy. I don't think they're going anywhere. And remember, I have i9 on my computer. I don't know what that means, but supposedly it's good. Let's see. Riot, we covered this. Drew, did I cover majority of your stuff?
Shorty, can you check UNG? natural
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah, UNG looks good. I mean, I'm still adding UNG.
Yeah.
I'm
Look for-
adding, especially if it comes back to about 6.7, right? I don't want to say the 6.69. Dumpster gets excited. Anywhere between, if it dips below 6.5 and 5.7, I'll definitely be a buyer again. Anywhere in this range, I'll load the boat in this level here. So I don't mind adding in between here, but my average is now in this number here. I've been adding quite a bit for me and my kids. So XLU. I wouldn't, I mean, if it dips to 60s, it's great. Anywhere 64 to 60 is not a bad buy on XLU for me. I'll probably add some. We'll put 60, 64. Would not be bad because that would be the monthly bottom, and then they will have some ways to go. So about $20 there. You can make about 30% or so on this if it dips here, and I don't mind 30% of shares. I'll take that all day if I can catch it here. Okay. What else did I miss? Anyone? I'll just open YouTube here. SMA. Yeah, SMA completed the daily cycle here. It's probably headed to 240, losing 270. This Snap-on is going to go down, but Snap-on is a good company. This is the one I was thinking about, not the other Snap. So this is a pretty good company, guys. They've been around. So if you can catch it sub hundreds, good money. And it completed the full cycle here. So losing 270 starts the down cycle to the downside. Okay. Crowd. I think we covered crowd. I wouldn't be, most of us got crowd here at 100s, low 100s. So I wouldn't be interested. You know, we already, if you have it, you made money here. Needs to clear 165 to catch 216, but you wanted to build base. You needed to create value. You know, they create value, then the PR comes out, they release some news, some good stuff, some hacking. Remember when we talked about hacking not too long ago, when that maybe 3 months ago, I said there's gonna be a lot of hacking coming out. I don't know if anyone recalls that, but we caught the bottom on these because of that. Like Z scalers and sub 90s goes to 150. That's a pretty good return. So TMF, I don't know what TMF is, but I'm not looking. Oh, isn't this the bonds? Didn't we buy that? I have some of this. TMF, I have some of this. This looks, I mean, reclaim of 8, probably you can trigger it to go to 12.5 and then 17. So I do have TMF. I don't know who brought this up. I think it was Mr. Bean. Yeah, I have it, but my average is a little bit higher here. I think my average is close to 10 or somewhere around there. I'll have to check. I think Bean brought this up to us. Yeah, my average is higher. I know I'm down on this, but I'm not super heavy on it. Okay. I have AAPD as well. I don't know if this is the inverse of Apple, right? So I do still have some of this, right? And I don't even know how, but I'm only down like 20% on this. I guess I was expecting to be more down considering Apple's at all-time highs, but this is not bad here. I have some, and what was NVIDIA? I got clapped on that. NVDS? No, maybe not. Forgot, but I had to sell it. Obviously, when NVIDIA had the break of the 300 level, it exploded 500. So I did take a hit on that. What else do you guys have? Let me go to main chat, make sure I don't miss anyone. Crowd, PLTR is long gone. PLTR just completed the whole cycle, right? So it went from the monthly bottom at the 5, completed to the top, and that's normal for stocks to go through these cycles. Once PLTR loses 14, it's gonna go to 8. So do you think I would buy here? Probably not. right? And I think this is the company with a crazy CEO that just talks a lot. And I think they're focused on government contracts, so. I personally would not buy it, but that's just me. I won't have this in my portfolio. Should we check Zim for our friend? Yeah, Zim looks good, about 11, 10 bucks. That was good buy. Probably will head to 20 here, 16 and 20. Okay, SQQ. SQQ, so what do you see interesting here? Whoever asked, Toasty, what do you think about this? Look at this. It came right to the monthly bottom at 16 bucks and it's holding now. And consider that we saw Microsoft, Apple, Netflix all completed monthly tops. And this one is a monthly bottom. Do you see that coincidence? Telling you that it might have reached the top in the market for a while. Maybe some pullbacks coming in. Okay, GHC. But I like SQQ, so anywhere below 17, below 18, but below this yellow line that you see here. 1868 and 1628. I don't think it's a bad ad at all on SQQ. GE Healthcare. So this one does not have enough data for the monthly, but I would think just looking at it from here. Yeah. I mean, the lows probably sub 50s. I don't know what they do and how they're structured, but anywhere close to 50 because I see they're accumulating. They had mini accumulation here. So they're most likely losing 74, 75-ish. Retest of that goes to 50. ICAD. Whoa. What is this? Medical. Wow. Dude, this. Wow. When did you find about this, Lucky Dom? This looks interesting. Wow. From the monthly bottom. If you guys want, we can add some stocks like these, where we see which ones are at monthly bottoms and holding. Like maybe it's some lotto shares, but I'm not big into stuff like that. But this pops from the monthly bottom. It's probably headed to $5. As long as it holds 3-1, it's headed to 5. So a bad upside. A retest of 283 will yield, or 2.4. 2.4 would be better. It would be the weekly bullish setup. This would be good. Get it 2.448. That's 100%. Somebody had an interview on this. This is how you know the market's crazy. I mean, yeah, they're going from 16 to 60 on companies that most people don't even know what the fuck they do. Yeah, not buy this here. I know it sounds crazy again, probably around $5. I will not touch it here. It can go to 94, but I would not touch it here. If it has FSU on 30 minutes, probably has upside, but it has to hold this midline here. So the retest and hold of 49.85, so round it up to 50, has potential. It could go on the longer run between 8 to 12 weeks to 94, but I just won't put my money into this. DM. Okay. T. I've been adding AT&T, as you guys know, and this is a monthly bottom. There's a lot of volume here that came in that I showed you guys last time. So I've been adding, and I don't add AT&T because of the the capital gains. If I do get capital gains, that's great, but I'm adding that in my portfolio, my kiddos, mainly for the dividends, right? They've been paying dividends for long periods, right? So think about it, 40 years back, if you guys existed, this was the tech company in the United States. I don't know if you guys know that. This was considered big tech, right? And then they did some splits, right? And I was actually involved in some of their splits as, let's call it consulting. So they were part of it. I was part of it, but they were considered the big, damn Cisco. They were considered, conglomerates of tech world. I'm not buying it for capital gains. I'm buying them for dividends. They're cash cows. So I'm adding here, right? And mention this in the Discord. Whenever I add this, I have quite a bit of shares. My goal is to accumulate about 15,000 shares total. So I'm adding that. And then, you know, if you think about it, if you have 15,000 shares and they pay $1.50, let's say a year on the dividends, you can get the idea, right? From now till later on, if they do any splits or do something special, you can make some decent money on it. I'm adding AT&T. This is Corning, right? Probably around 28. I forgot what they do. I think something with the screens. Somewhere around 28. I wouldn't mind adding it. And they failed to hold the monthly mid here. So they're not going to 41 until they reclaim this 35. Losing this sends it to 30. 30 might not be a bad add, but I don't know exactly what they do. But I would, you know, if I was to add it, I would add it at 28. Okay, and then I'll show you guys this. So ES, what did ES do here? Or what's that attempting to do?
Completing the
Complete
monthly
a little
cycle.
monthly cycle, right? So once you complete this, it's pretty much a wrap on ES, believe it or not. And Q, what did NQ do? Why did I say that SQQ looks good? Look at this. Yeah, the clouds really do help for me to actually see the picture, right? So we completed a full cycle on the monthly. We bounced perfectly on the monthly bottoms, right? And then we just hit monthly top here. And that's also the point of consolidation that we had. So I'm pretty sure that we're going to be retracing back potentially to 13.1 here sooner than later. And then Q. I'll show you guys SPY. SPY has a tad bit to go if they decide that they can get the momentum. Otherwise, 414 revisit is pretty high, really high confluence that it goes to 420 to 415. This would be between 3 to 4 months or less. I would say 2 to 4 months.
We got Paul speaking on Wednesday and the FOMC rate as well.
Yeah, and look at Qs, guys. So take a look at Qs. What did it do? It completed a full cycle, completed monthly, weeklies, and then here's SQQ. And where's SQQ? I buy this, right? And I know it's hard to believe it, but this happened in 06, 07, 08. I don't know who traded back then or who was an investor, but they did the same deal. Everybody starts picking up recession, soft landing. Just Google soft landing. I mean, you can go even to 1987-ish, right? And go to 2006, 7. Everybody was, all the banks are soft landing is possible. All the big boys were saying a recession is gone. And then what happened?
It's the same playbook again. The only thing is they don't know what's gonna cause.
They don't know what's gonna break because they don't know what they're breaking, guys. And the federal system is very complex. You know, when you think about repos, reverse repos, the liquidities, you know, it's a complex math. And all they're doing is minimizing, right? You see the, you know, the TGA account is, you know, it was depleted, now it's replenished. So there's a lot of stuff that happens, right? That makes the markets move. Obviously, zero interest rates propelled that. I mean, UPST went to $400 and nobody knew what the fuck they were doing. And the top investors, they were asked on TV, you know, why do you like this company? And they didn't know what the hell they're doing. So don't fall for the tricks. They sell when, you know, when they're telling you to buy. They buy when they're telling you to sell in fear, right? And Warren Buffett's pretty good at that game of identifying that, obviously. And I'll probably add some SQQ here, you know. And if you guys, what's the other one that we had? Isn't this socks or something that we add when people? I'll find my.
SOXO.
What's the one, the bullish of AMD and those? Forgot what it was.
SOXO.
SOXO.
L like L for.
Oh, okay. Okay, and I'll find the tweet where I mentioned this.
Oh, yeah,
where we said,
right?
I said that this was gonna be pretty much the target for it. If you guys go back to my tweets, the 26, 25-ish was the goal. I'll find the tweet where we set it, but here again, it completed the monthly bottom. It popped here, right? Now it's struggling with the weekly top, losing 23, sends it back to 5. And the only reason that this spiked here, who can take a wild guess why?
It's the AI stuff, right?
Come on. You go from monthly of 146 to 500. Yeah. In what world does that happen?
But
So
also-
most likely this is coming back to 350 here soon. It's hard to short this. I would not short it. But it's coming back to 350. There's going to be a really bullish backdoor here at 350. And you have a really nice stop loss here at 340. So what's the other one? So excess. What is this one again? You guys know I'm dyslexic.
I
So
think this is inverse of SOXL. So they're
Okay.
basic short semis.
I'm gonna add this into my portfolio. I'll add some of this, guys. Something looks pretty good. If I can catch, I mean, there's a potential for a big drawdown, but I'll probably add $10,000 worth and just leave it and forget it. Yeah, but this looks pretty good for me. Okay, let's see. Anyone else? Any? And there's one company I'll never trade, if you guys remember, Firm. That one that can go up to $1,000. I will never buy it. Instead of making 20K, I lost 15K on their earnings. Okay, what else do you guys have? Anyone? Okay, so I'll share the results. So basically what I did here is I documented this list, right? I will go through each one of these and then I'll put it in a format that we go with. Where is it? Let me go here. So basically I'll update this Google sheet here that gives us, the ticker, the type, and then if it's triggered, we'll notify you in the trading in the Discord, where we find it and if there's any notes. And then I kind of classify it with the rating here, right? Whether it's a must buy or not, right? So we had a couple of must buys on that list. It was Pfizer, NEM, Pizza, and prior to this month, we had Domino's, if you guys recall, at 300, Dollar General, and then TSN here. So we come through the list and then we go from there, right? So I'll update this list the same way, and then you guys will have an idea what's being added, what's not, and then I'll notify you if I do add something in my portfolio. And here's the MM, right? This is that one I have already. Okay, I'll check Ryzen. Somebody's asking for it. I do have Ryzen in my portfolio. Ryzen's solid here. Ryzen is really, especially once they reclaim 34, they would have worn out all the sellers here. So I do have Ryzen. They pay good dividends too. Yep. That, Kroger, Verizon, these are not bad. If you can catch this, I have it actually much cheaper than where we are right now. Kroger at like 38-ish, 35. It's a no-brainer for me. Okay. All right, well, since we're done with this a little bit early, not much opportunity for shares, at least for me. We'll go back and to look at the ES and see what's going on in the market and kind of prep for the upcoming week. So now we know that, the weekly low right here is being set on ES right now. Let me go in 65 minutes. Sure, this is set for weekly. Yeah, so here's this, and you guys are hopefully familiar with this level from last watch list. This was the key level I explained in the beginning of this session, right? That this was the level they're going to target, and it's basically a confirmation. If you guys remember the PowerPoint, do you guys remember the slide one from the PowerPoint? Here, let me remind you. The whole market behaves in such theory, right? It goes from balance, imbalance, acceptance, or rejection. And when you think about it here, so we are in balance here, right? We're trading in the weekly balance. We broke above it. And what is this here? It's the crucial point. Are they going to accept the prices higher or lower, right? If they fail below this level, where do you think we're going?
POC below.
You're going to this level here, which would be 45.10, and it's also the level that I said that's going to be a pivotal for the market actually to reverse and probably visit some levels not seen since May. Probably about 4,100, 4,200. And when you think about it, this consolidation here, and it's also in a PowerPoint. Let's just go on 8 hours for a moment, right? If you think about this consolidation that we had here from 4,200 to about, I would say 3,800 was about 400 points. So from here to here, how many points is that? To 400, right? If you think about this from here all the way to here, you know, you're looking at what, 400 points. And now if you take this consolidation and you measure it, it's a measured move. So call it 363. And then if you take this, funny, right? This is the consolidation. We popped, we did its thing, and then I think it's time for a little pullback. So let's see. Let me turn that on. So this level is going to be crucial, guys. It's really, really important. I mean, I would highlight this level. And then, you know, the footprint, what I showed you guys, it's going to be crucial. And did we show strength on the last one or weakness? What I was pointing out. So if you joined late, the first step, there was a lot of buyers, right? They stepped in, they were fairly aggressive. And now this is showing weakness as we come around again. Initial instinct, right, is that we are going to protect this. And this would be, you know, use previous week value area low. And then we're going to protect that. And there's a high chance that you're going to visit this if you do protect it, right? Which would be your previous week POC. And we'll target this if we see on the footprint that we see the buyers are stepping in, we'll go there. And then, of course, if we break the POC and we give a nice setup for the base and go higher, we're targeting this level here, right? So this will be your previous week value area high. So this becomes a good range, right? You're talking about 4,600 to 4,560, 40 points. A lot of people, I even warned you on chat. I said this sell-off might seem like it's a lot. This is just a normal pullback. They're building value above this value that they broke. So this is normal. This is totally normal behavior in a market. I personally, even though the footprints are showing weakness, you know, the opening tonight is going to be really, really important. I want to see them lose 41.50, 45.60 and reclaim it, and I'll go long overnight. And I'll probably target, you know, if I can catch 20 points, that'd be great on ES. So that's what I'll do tonight. I'll watch at 6 p.m. as we open. And then if you look at this, right, you have this. Why is this POC fairly important? It's a weekly margin, right? I mean, so if we lose this level here is fairly important for the market, because then of course you're going to be testing the bottom value. And then you see, right, what happened here is there's overlapping value areas, right? In between this one, it's overlapping to the upside. And now it's also overlapping. Which one is more bullish? Let me ask you this overlap to this one or this one to this one? Does everybody understand the question?
The second one is more bullish.
Yeah, the second one.
Because
more volume.
Okay. You're saying this one is more bullish than this one to this one?
I would think so, because the value area is way higher. And that one's overlapped some.
That's correct, yeah. So, and this one is not dipping inside this value. So if they're not dipping inside value, they're protecting the previous value. So that's fairly bullish. Even though this one has, obviously, between these two, this range has really big extensions here. But now if they lose this happens quick, guys. This 45.10 happens rather quick. They have a little bit of, if you take volume profile fixed from here to here, there's going to be a shelf here, which is going to be your POC at 45.50. It's going to be important tomorrow to pay attention to this. Would I short from 45.60 to 45.50? No. And you guys probably know that answer already. I would not short this, but this is your now, you know, this is your run up POC here. I don't know if you guys saw that, but it started flickering. I would only consider shorting below, but I'll be looking to go long at 45.10 in this range. I'll be looking to go long because I'm pretty sure they're going to show up here, the buyers, right? So that's what I'm looking for on that bigger picture, right? Considering we're close to the month end, right? It's not a bad idea just to kind of peek, right, at the monthly and see where are we, right? Are we trending higher, lower, right? And you see here what's happening on the monthly. Look at the bigger picture starting from here.
Consolidated and they broke out.
Okay, let me zoom in. What lines up here for shorting?
Run up.
Why
you'll
is this
see
level
in
good
value
for
area.
shorting?
You're breaking back into the value.
You're breaking inside the value where you popped from. And if you're not being, if you don't bounce here and you don't respect it, I expect a bounce initially right here. But if you fail, let's say at 45.64, which would look like something like, I'm sorry, it would look like something like this. If you get a bounce and then you fail, then you're most likely looking at something like this. Okay. So that's what I would, in my head, I'm creating scenarios, right? And I'm not going to predict them. I'm just going to play one that plays out. So this is a high potential for that setup here because there's not a lot of volume at these high volume nodes. All the volume stayed here. The value areas on the monthlies are overlapping, right? Considered, compared to these, right? Value area shifted, value chasing price. Now we're already overlapping. And if they're not able to hold this one, they're most likely going to come back and test this one here, which would be right around 4,500. So this becomes our range for buying, which is 4,500 to 4,510. Does it make sense a little bit? You guys see how values are created and where I'm expecting buying or selling? So now if we lose this level, then I know most likely this previous, this current month, July, it still has, I can't call it virgin just yet because it hasn't concluded. But there's a high chance that you're going to come back to this level, which would be about 44, what is it, 50-ish, somewhere around there. And then if they lose that level, they have a virgin POC. I would say they have almost a 2x POC sitting at 41.35. But we all know 41.40 is the key, right? So if you guys grab all of this from October lows to this, you're looking at this 41.40, 41.38. Level is going to be the most crucial level that we have on this chart. So, if we lose this, then, I think we start accelerating to a downside. Okay. So big picture, you think about it monthly, we are out of balance, right? You think about here, we're out of balance on the monthly. We broke the previous balance. On the weekly, where are we in terms of balance? Did anyone catch that? We are in balance on the weekly, right? If we lose this, we're losing balance to the downside. And that's what the bears are. Bears really want to get inside this value. They want to test, because if they break this here, what does the rule of extremes on value say? Where are you headed? First, 45.10. You failed that. Is there much volume here? All the volume seems to be concentrated. This is going to be that you guys won't even catch this. When I say you guys, including myself, if it happens overnight, this level is not going to be caught. This is just going to be a flush.
Shorty, are those single prints near 44.90 or?
Yes, these are single prints here. Yeah, they're also a market profile. They're single prints. Yep, they're gonna have to fix this, right? Pretty sure there's an imbalance on the buy side here. So that's bigger picture. And then you look at the, let's zoom in. I'll just hide the weeklies. We go on the dailies. And we look at this, right? So yeah, 1, 2, 3. Would you call this? I would call this a 4-day. You can call a 4-day balance here, right? Between this. And you see here, right? Obviously that POC is not going to shift. And then if you look at this for a moment, I'll hide this. This is your value area low. And look what we're holding. We're holding a 4-day balance, like to a T here. We're fighting for dear life now. If they lose that, you see that they can bounce from 40, for 45.50 because that's where they created also imbalance. And there was some consolidation here. But what do I tell you about after hour consolidations? Do I count them as much as I do the real time hours?
No.
Pay attention to the bottom, right? There's not, this happened after hours. They consolidated and it popped from after hours. So as long, even though this is, retail 45.50 considered round number, I don't put as much emphasis. I know it's an important level, but they consolidated and created an imbalance to the upside after hours, right? They consolidated and created this. And I don't know if there was, I think this might have been CPI or something, some kind of news here, July 18. I don't know what happened, but I don't trust this one as much, right? So if they lose this, I mean, I showed you just moments ago, there's between this and this, you lose this, you have nothing till 45.10. You lose this, you have some value area low here, which also on less volume movement here, you're probably looking to visit this here quickly here, this volume node. Okay. So on the daily sessions, let me turn them on. On the daily sessions here, let me hide this so you guys can see it. Do you remember when we called that? Well, we were in the watch list. What did I point out about the POCs here? Do you guys recall? Does anyone
The
remember?
distance was getting smaller between them.
Yeah, same thing that we had experienced before, right? There's just have to here when we're, we did the measurement between each and the value area. They're growing, and it's getting stagnation, right? It's slowing down here. So of course you had the P shape with double distribution here, and they failed to reclaim the bottom distribution altogether here. So now look what's holding this market. Do you see this high volume node here? It's being held by this dude here, and we are below this one here. So this value area low, previous day value area low, if we do reclaim this, just pay attention and do not be stupid. If we reclaim this, should you short it?
No.
Do not short tomorrow if we reclaim this previous day value area low. They're gonna test this 45.80. Don't believe me? Just check what we did a couple of days back when I told you if they reclaim that level. I believe it was this one here, that there's a high chance they're gonna explode. And I think it was this day they exploded. So I would definitely watch this tomorrow. The only way I turn bullish is if they reclaim this, especially if we open here. And look at the initial balance that they set, the first hour compared to this day, and we'll know what are the odds of us having a trend day. I think we had, do you guys recall here the initial balance talk when we talked about that there was a high potential for a trend day between the 2 days here when I mentioned it to you guys? It really plays out, right? So you want to watch if the initial balances are staying stacked next to each other, potentially a side day, a D normal shape. And then if one is leading higher than the other in the break of that IBH, there's a strong chance that you're going to have a range extension and go higher or lower, depending on how we are overlapping, right? So I would definitely watch that tomorrow. Find your IBH from Friday, compare it to Monday, see where we open, and then you have the 4 scenarios from the PowerPoint. They're somewhere here. I have some new slides for you guys here. I'll upload it today on absorption. Let me find this one. Yeah, these 4 scenarios are going to be pretty important that you guys pay attention to tomorrow, right? So I would definitely watch this tomorrow as we open, see where we open, and then footprints to tell us, are we going to hold this or not? Pretty positive that we're going to dip tomorrow or tonight to 45.50. But let's see, maybe I'm wrong, but I have a inclination that we're going here to right at open this morning tonight. I'll be there to catch it. So fairly easy day tomorrow. I don't anticipate this to be complex. We should be done within 20 minutes. Reclaim a PD value area low will go lower, higher. I'm sorry, we'll turn a little bit bullish. Of course, we don't turn really bullish till we, I would say, break this right here, right? We got to reclaim 45.80 if you want to go higher. And this high volume node here, this is a triple distribution day here, which is really weird. And we also had one here, which was used as a trap. So you really, if you want to go here, you got to reclaim this POC, which is about 45.90. Then we have a potential to go higher. And then this is where it becomes super important. And then you guys know that we had the contract switch, right? Where was it here? You can still use this, right, as your key. And what do you notice here? The price actually never, I'm sorry, the value never really chased up to the value. We still need a lot more volume for the value area to shift. So if they want to go higher, they got to build value, and then they got to break this previous week value area high, and then they're going to explode higher. But as of right now, you guys see why that level 45.10, 45.99 is going to be super important. They broke here. They got to validate this, that they want to set prices higher. Most people that don't trade volume profile or market profile, they might not be aware of this level, but it's going to be crucial level for upside. They got to hold this 45.90, I would say 94-ish or so. They got to hold this to go higher. And that's going to validate the setup. Okay. Any questions on ES?
Nope.
You guys think it's fairly easy the way I explain it? You have questions, don't be afraid to ask, right? If it's a new lingo for you, a new language, the only way you're going to learn is if you ask stupid questions, and there's no stupid questions. Trust
Got a
me.
question, Shorty. What's short single prints? You mentioned that earlier.
Yeah, so single prints, usually the way they look. So you see here how you have skinny bellies. I call them skinny bellies. You see here on this profile, I'll zoom in a little bit. So usually means that there's buyers, right? So the way market works, right? So if it's a P-shaped, right, profile, like let's say this one just the headage, that means that there was aggressive buyers coming in here, and then they drove the price. They consolidated here because they're taking profits and deciding, do we take this higher or are we going to come back and lower? Single prints means there was aggressive one time, meaning a tail. In market profile, they call this the tail. And that means that other time frame buyers, meaning, you have short-term traders, you have intermediate traders, then you have long-term buyers, right? Long-term buyers buy and hold forever, right? I don't know the duration, multiple, probably usually over a year because of tax. But that means as a short-term sellers were selling, they reached a level where, if you think about that, the bid and the ask, right? You have the bid, you have the ask. Where do passive buyers show up? Does anyone remember? Are the passive buyers in the bid or in the ask?
Ask.
Passive buyers.
Yeah, they're on the bid because they're waiting for it
They're
to
on
come
a bid.
down.
They're waiting for it to come down. So when you see a tail like that, that means a long-term buyer had the order sitting here, a large quantity. And as they reach their order, remember, these people don't, these levels don't get moved by the big boys, right? They buy in the zones, right? Just because it dropped 3 points, they don't go and shift their order, right? It takes a lot to put those orders and to get the liquidity to execute, and they don't move them over a couple of points. They get in, and then once people see large orders, they hop in, and that's how these P shapes are created. And this becomes single prints because it drops here and then instantly it pops, and these become sometimes single prints, and they look like on volume profile. Let me stop this thing. They look like something like this. You see here, there's single prints here, and you see how they popped here, and look when they came back, what happened to the market. You see how they made a higher high here, and they popped right into it, into the single prints, and what happened? They got filled because there's more buyers sitting there to be filled. More orders got filled, and they created an explosion higher. So it just means that there was a quick action and quick, I would say, high frequency trader with a lot of orders executed and popped the imbalance higher or lower. It can work both ways. On market profile, it would mean, on market profile, those letters. You have like A, B, C, Ds. You guys know what I'm talking about? So it would usually mean a single tail, single column that you had AA, and it just drove higher from single prints here. And single prints mean there's only one column. Does that make sense?
Yep. Thanks, Shorty.
Mm-hmm. Should probably add some slides on market profile for you guys. Yeah, maybe I just think of it as so simple, but maybe I should add some slides for you guys here. Any other questions on ES? Well, now I gotta go Control Z. I don't want all these drawings here. That looks like Chinese right here to me. Okay. Any other questions on ES? All right. Well, I think that'll be it for me. I will post the PowerPoint. It has some videos, has some new slides on absorption. and then noticing that. And in the meantime, I did mention that on TradingView, we might get the histogram of the volume statistics on the bottom built in. Footprint charts are a little bit more complex, but I think we can. And I have a project out for a guy to see if he can develop that for us. I think it'll be beneficial for many of you to get that. I will go from there, and I'll look at it tonight at 6. I'll let you guys know if I place any trades, but I'll be live tomorrow.
Thanks, Shorty.
All right, guys.
Thanks,
Have a
Shorty.
good
Thanks
day,
so much,
and I'll
Shorty.
catch you tonight and tomorrow. Bye.
Thanks.
All right,
Have a good one.
thanks.
Have a good one, Alan. Thanks, Arkansas.